Welcome back, listeners, new and old. You are listening to Into the Night, a Moon Knight podcast. I'm one of your glow-in-the-dark hosts, Connor.
And I'm your other Funko Pop Rey. And today we actually have something slightly different. Apart from the usual latest news and gossip on Moon Knight, we will be doing our figures review. So we'll be looking at the Legends Hasbro figure of Moon Knight, as well as the two iterations of the first Moon Knight Funko Pops. So sit back, grab your Funkos, and get your Khonshu on.
Yes, hello. It's a bit of a shake-up this week. No issues, just some nice little figures. We're not sure how this is entirely going to go. You know, we've never quite reviewed figures before, and I'll make no promises about this being a short or long episode, because as Shane, one of our listeners, being a firefighter up in Cairns once said, the last time I said this would be a short episode, it went for 2 hours. So we'll see how this one goes. But regardless, Ray, how have you been?
Yeah, I've been well, Connor. It definitely is a different episode today. But no, yeah, things have been going well. I'm just kind of heading towards the beginning of the silly season, I guess. So work's good. You got the Christmas party this Friday, so looking forward to that. Yeah, not too many shenanigans. Working at a university, it's all quite tame, but that's okay. It's just a nice sit-down lunch and maybe a couple of drinks. But yeah, how about yourself, Connor? How's the week been?
Yeah, just another good one. Just been catching up on the old pull list.
Mm-hmm.
It's been
a great week, hasn't it?
Yeah. This week we had last week we had two of my other favorite Marvel comics, Black Bolt and Hawkeye, which were both stellar.
Ooh.
And yeah, just sort of catching up on everything else. It's been really, really good, and we're still waiting for the end of the month for our new Moon Knight issue. So I got to keep myself entertained somehow.
Mm-hmm. And I've got Hawkeye and Black Bolt. I still haven't read them. They're on my pile. But I was impressed with. It's always fun to have the Iron Fist issue that was out. That was a bit of fun, just with Mike Perkins and Ed Brisson. But yeah, just enjoying actually a lot of older runs as well. I've been getting into a bit of Punisher Max.
Lovely.
Yeah, really good. The Jason Aaron run. So I hadn't read any of the Jason Aaron run before. I did I read a lot of Garth Ennis stuff, but I never read his run before. So I read Kingpin, his story arc there, the arc with Bullseye. There's one called, I think it's called Frank, which is part 3 of this entire big arc, and and up to Homeless, which I think is the 4th and final arc to what is a really good run, Connor. Have you read Jason Aaron's stuff?
I haven't even read Garth Ennis's stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I'm so behind. I've only heard good things about, the incredibly gruesome tales of Ennis and Aaron. I hear who's it, Kingpin is especially good in the Aaron run too.
It is very good. I mean, it's kind of Punisher can be always seen as a bit of a one-dimensional character, and for the most part, in the 90s at least, he was a one-trick pony. But with Garth Ennis taking the reins and Jason Aaron following, he's being added so much depth to him that it's really a must-read, Connor. So cannot urge you enough to read that. What else did I read? I read I burned through a whole few trades recently. I can't remember. But how about any older runs that you've read recently, Connor?
I've been rereading Runaways. The new show's out, which I haven't started, plus the new run, which I've been really enjoying. So that's given me a good excuse to go back and reread that.
Mm-hmm.
Let me check my own Marvel Unlimited.
Yeah, I've been
stuff loaded up on that.
Oh, Ghost Rider. I've been reading a bit of Ghost Rider as well.
Me too. Jason Aaron, or what are you reading?
I have.
Yes,
actually,
awesome. Me too.
Yes, the boys over at Vengeance Unbound, the Ghost Rider podcast. I was chatting with one of them, Brian, and he was. We were kind of exchanging our favourite runs from, our particular characters that we follow. And he definitely recommended the Jason Aaron, again, his name pops up, the Jason Aaron Ghost Rider run, which, it's quite impressive so far. So I'm getting a lot of Jason Aaron lately. How are you finding Ghost Rider?
Yeah, I'm loving it. I'm only a few issues in, but
Yeah.
it's just so amazing. I've never read Ghost Rider before, so this is my first time dipping my toe in.
Yeah.
At all with the character. Oh no, I read the Robbie
Reyes, yeah.
Reyes, run, which I really enjoyed. It's been
really
great,
good.
and it's crazy to think that that was his first Marvel run at the time, I believe.
Felipe Smith, I think, was the writer for that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He's I think he's got like a Latino background, and he wanted to give Ghost Rider a bit of an edge, so he was allowed to write Ghost Rider, and he created Robbie Reyes. It's a really cool character, him and his brother. I guess we can talk about other characters all night long, Connor, but we do have one Mr. Moon Knight to look forward to. How about we've only got a little bit of news this week, but how about we dive into a bit of speculation?
Yes, well, the big news going around the block, if you've at all been on the internet for the last week or two, is that there is a prospective buyout from Disney and Fox. It's not a complete buyout. Disney is optioning for buying some of Fox's properties. We don't know, so that'll basically should encompass, Fantastic Four, the X-Men, all that good stuff to return to Disney, possibly some other great properties. Nothing final just yet, but reports from the inside have been suggesting that they're going well, and it seems fairly done and dusted, which will, just generally will forever change our MCU movies with two massive properties back in the hand of Marvel. And so what do you think, Ryan? What do you think about this for our prospective Moon Knight?
Yeah, good questions. I'm excited by this, and from what I've read, it's not a matter of if anymore. It's just when. So that's pretty cool, and the fact that Disney, well, take any article as you will, but from what I've read, the major impetus for this was to kind of capture the Fantastic Four and the X-Men franchise and reclaim it back to Marvel. So looks like Marvel brought the big guns out and got Disney to back them. Been trying to get their properties back, and Disney are big enough, aren't they, to take on Fox, and they must have landed. I think they mentioned it's something in the effect of $60 billion. It looks like the deal is that Fox will agree to handing over these, and it might be other stuff as well. Just off the top of my head, what I'd love to see is a Namor Submariner. I don't know if he's in Fox or not. Or is he floating around?
Marvel actually owns him.
He's in Marvel. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So even if the deal doesn't go ahead, you still got Namor. Don't worry about it.
Well, at least Namor interacting with the likes of Sue Storm and the Fantastic Four.
Yeah, totally.
He's got quite a close relationship there. But I think it will be great. And it is a good question. As what does this mean for the lower tier characters like our Moon Knights? I mean, there was some talk on our group page whether this would kind of push them out to the fringes even more, because with Marvel getting back the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, there's a lot of, there are a lot of characters that they can start exploring, and it would start pushing out the lower tier characters out. And then there was also a conjecture that Moon Knight being a street level, there'll be some, there'll still be some corner in the TV or the film universe where they can explore that, and it can be argued that that kind of Moon Knight is the next cab off the rank. So it may not affect his standing at all. I tend to think, being the ever optimist, I tend to think that he'd be safe regardless of the Fantastic Four and the X-Men, because I reckon those guys would be in the films, right? And I still firmly believe Moon Knight belongs on the small screen. So with the Fantastic Four back and the X-Men, I think if they do come back, or when they do come back, they'll probably take a bit of the film pie, so to speak, of the MCU, and Moon Knight will probably be able to still find his way on the small screen. What are your thoughts on this, Connor?
I tend to agree, and there's going to be some big changes and some big pushes to obviously get the Fantastic Four and X-Men in as as organically, but also I suppose as quickly as they can to capitalize on the hype to really get that ball moving, and whether however that does. We'll still be keeping, I'm pretty sure, shows like The Gifted and Legion, because they've been created already between Marvel and Fox, so there's already sort of a corner there.
Yeah.
But I think, regardless of the deal, the big thing is, and this comes in the streaming service, of how much stuff like the Netflix shows survive through that. And I think the popularity, and we had the Jessica Jones Season 2 trailer drop this week, which looked very good. And the popularity that trailer still brought in, the hype it still brought in, and the fact there is, I feel like Defenders and Iron Fist, regardless of what we think of their quality, still kind of soured the view of Netflix, possibly on the internet. But, the positive buzz behind Punisher and the trailer for Jessica Jones still proves that there's still a lot of interest and love for this corner. And I think undoubtedly that's going to say, and that's the perfect corner for Moon Knight to be in. I think they'd have to be, infected by space aliens to not realize that's the perfect spot to fit Moon Knight in. And I think the demand for Moon Knight, as small a list as he is, still is very much there. And I want this buyer, and I do not think, hopefully, maybe, sort of, it won't impact Moon Knight.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I totally agree too. And what you mentioned, I think, is quite important. Number one, I think Marvel shows on TV have kind of, found a second wind. Like Defenders, sure, it fell a little flat here and there, but look, hey, it still had all the four together, which was great to see. But the Punisher, the series, that has really kind of galvanized, I think, the creativity and the possibilities that Marvel have presented to the TV arena, in the fact that Frank Castle is just a normal human being. He's not like Luke Cage, or he's not like Iron Fist or Jessica Jones. He's just a normal guy. And if you look at Moon Knight, he's essentially kind of like a normal guy as well. He's kind of in between the Punisher, I think, and say the Defenders, in the fact that he's kind of human, like the Punisher. But he dresses up like Daredevil and dishes out justice. So I think there's a good fit for him there, and I do think that I certainly can't see a fatigue with at least the Marvel Netflix shows, just because the Punisher has kind of brought, I think, new life into that corner of the TV show. So I think Moon Knight could easily fit in there. So before we get on to the other bits there, Connor, you just reminded us of Jessica Jones Season 2 dropping, the trailer. What are your thoughts on that trailer? That was really cool to see.
Yeah, I liked it. It was sort of, it was like really cool, but at the same time you don't really get a sense of any sort of plot.
No.
Which is kind of what I want.
Yes.
I think I'll maybe watch one more official trailer before I sort of go blackout on this one, because the trust is so much there from the first season.
Yes.
And I think this trailer was just enough to sort of get it back into the public eye and get everyone really hyped again.
Yep.
Still looking as good as ever. I think a lot of the talent, like behind the camera talent, is still very much there for the second season as well, which is probably why it looks so good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I love the soundtrack just to the trailer as well. It kind of set the tone again, and it's good to see Jessica Jones, I guess, jumping around more and punching a bit more. So, regardless of none of the plot was revealed. To me, it seems that she's got a bit more of a dynamic edge to her this season. Willing to use her strength more and show it. So, looking forward to that. And it's a release date of, I believe, was it April the 18th or the 8th?
I don't know. Let me check. Vamping for time.
Yeah, let's. I'm pretty sure it's April. I think it's
March 8th,
March
2018.
8th. Oh, okay, even better. And that's
Yeah,
is that Rebecca's birthday?
it sure is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's easy to remember then. Oh, so yeah. Oh, awesome. No, that's great. Well, how about we go to? There's only a couple of small bits of news, Connor. How about we just touch upon them? And they're kind of more like Moon Knight alumni related news. Do you want to
Yes,
take the first one?
yeah, sure. So it was a great little interview with incredible Moon Knight artist Greg Smallwood with Newsarama. It was kind of a pretty general interview just about him with comics. There's plenty of good talk there about Moon Knight and his experience working on it now that he's sort of finished it, where he's going next. He talked about drawing those great issues for Amazing Spider-Man, Guardians of the Galaxy. He talks about his new Archie book coming out. He's co-writing and drawing with his sister Megan Smallwood, Vampironica, which I'm looking forward to.
Has
Yeah.
do you know if Megan Smallwood has done anything before as well, his sister, or I'm sure she has.
I'm not sure. I definitely haven't read anything
Okay.
with her just yet.
Let me. Sorry, keep on going, Connor. I'll just try and.
Yeah, he talks and a lot of stuff about where he wants to go next. He talks about, of course, his Midnight Suns proposal, which we all still very much want to happen. He talks about, DC working with Valiant with his great, expected to be absolutely stellar Shadow Man book coming out also in March 2018, and just sort of a general, look into the past and future of Greg Smallwood's career, and it's a great little read. I won't just recap it, but
it looks good. I can't wait for this. I'm not an Archie comic fan, but I'll pick up this Vampironica just for the fact that it's got Greg Smallwood's name attached to it. So that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, actually, some news on that too. I mean, of course, nothing concrete, but there was some fun little Twitter interaction where Greg Smallwood was talking about his Midnight Suns and how he wanted to do it with Donny Cates, current Doctor Strange, and Thanos writer, both of which are great books. And Donny Cates said he would very much love to do that Midnight Suns book with Greg Smallwood. So Marvel, make it happen.
Yeah,
I think we could all agree.
Yeah, oh, for sure. One of our loonies, Tim, he posited on the group page that maybe Damnation, that kind of event coming up, may have been influenced by Greg Smallwood's pitch, because it does feature a few supernatural elements there. Actually, it has got Doctor Strange there. So you got your Doctor Strange, your Ghost Rider, and your Moon Knight. And I think possibly Blade there as well. So
that's Hellstrom there as well, isn't it?
I believe
No?
it could be.
No.
I thought it was another guy. Who I've never heard of. Yeah. But it's got all the characters there. So I wonder if Marvel took a leaf out of Smallwood's pitch. Regardless of that, I hope that Donny Cates and Smallwood do get onto it. And look, if Damnation works, maybe they will. They'll push the green button for Midnight Suns, which will be fantastic. Also, our third and final bit of news, loonies, is basically there was a new title from Boom released or announced. Sorry. And it's by none other than our good mate. When I mean our, I mean like us Moon Knight fans. Max Bemis. Oh yeah, Connor and I. He's close friends with Connor and myself, isn't he? Not. And it's Max Bemis and Michael Dialynis. Do you know this gentleman? Dialynis?
Yes, he drew the fantastic The Woods series with James Tinney the Fourth over at Boom.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen him on anything else, but that was such a amazingly, vibrant and detailed and sort of great cartooning with really great team characters. So definitely sort of the perfect puzzle piece here for this book.
Yeah, it's a great. I'm looking at the art on the article. It shows his art on. Sorry, the title is Lucy Dreaming. So, Bemis wanted to write, in a nutshell, he wanted to write a comic for his daughter, like down the track, when she's a bit older, to be able to read, and it tells the story of Lucy, and she's described as a grumpy, emotive, full of life 13-year-old girl, and she keeps on waking up in the shoes of various archetypal female heroes. So it sounds pretty exciting, actually. And with the art, I think the art kind of suits it really well. And yeah, this will be something I'll be picking up for sure as well. Obviously, a different flavour. It looks immediately a different flavour to Moon Knight, what Bemis is doing now. But I guess it just shows the versatility of Bemis as a writer.
For sure, and I like, this sort of idea of dreams and like waking up in different worlds can be so overcomplicated, but I think as a story, you really sort of trust Bemis after everything he does to make it such an exciting and definitely all ages romp. And with great art, it's just going to be such an alive book, I think, and yeah. I cannot wait. Was there an exact release date on it? It did say 2018.
It just said March
2018.
Yeah, March 2018.
Everything's happening in March. I tell you what, guys.
Oh, it's going to be a busy month, and it's right off the bat, it's a limited series as well. So, I guess like any avid comic reader and fan out there, don't worry, you're not locked in to buy many issues. I'm assuming it'll be a nice, tight, limited series. So it'll be a nice little package. But looking forward to picking that one up in March. So
for sure,
yeah.
And we'll definitely probably talk about it on the pod as well as we talk about stuff we're reading, as we sometimes ramble on about. But also on issues, be on the lookout in the next week or so, because solicitation to drop as well for the next issue of the big bad Bemis and Burroughs Moon Knight.
Oh yeah,
issue 6.
Issue 6, oh yeah.
Possibly part 6 and finale of the first arc too.
Oh yeah, could wrap up things quite nicely. The story's chugging on well from our reviews and having read it. So Bushman's in on the action last we saw, and he's teamed up with none other than Patient 86, aka the Sun King. So looking forward to more of that. So as we mentioned, there's a slight change to this episode. We'll be doing a different Over the Moon of sorts. It's figure reviews.
Yes, so honestly have no idea how to do this. Where would you like to start with our Funko Pops or our Marvel Legends?
Let's crack into the Funko Pops, Connor.
All right.
How's that?
So, when would you say these dropped? I'll look up a proper release date, but would you say about a month ago?
Good. I think it was about a month and a half ago. These dropped, and I think they dropped with on the pretext as well that there was the LA Comic Con, which was out.
Oh yes.
And I think I'm not sure if it was Stan Lee associated with somehow, but anyway, it was
sure
the LA.
Was.
Yeah, okay. It was the LA Comic Con, and us loonies were going about our loony business, and it suddenly dropped that they'll be releasing a Moon Knight Funko. Actually, we did see, we caught wind of it, didn't we, Connor, beforehand? We saw some rumours that there would be a Moon Knight Funko Pop happening, and those rumours proved to be true. But we weren't only gifted with one Moon Knight Funko Pop. There was an actual LA Comic Con exclusive Funko, which Funko are known to do, and it was a glow-in-the-dark version. So they had the original version, which is officially numbered 266, and 267 would get you the LA Comic Con glow-in-the-dark version. So yeah, Connor, let's have a look at number 266. So, first thing popped into, well, that you discussed, I remember. You were slightly disappointed in the title of it, right?
Yeah, it's so it is actually a Mr. Knight figure just under the title Moon Knight. We actually do know now that we have a proper
Mm-hmm.
caped
Mm-hmm.
Moon Knight figure coming out. Actually orderable. You might even have yours on your way, Ray.
Mm-hmm.
I know
Yeah, yeah.
I put yeah.
Yeah,
I put
sorry,
my
yeah.
order in today.
Yeah,
Yeah, but this
yeah.
one's just called Moon Knight tentatively,
Yeah.
despite being a Mr. Knight figure with even a lovely shelvy panel on the back of the box too.
Yes, it has the shelvy panel. I do believe, I think it is from issue 1 of the Ellis run, volume 6. I think that's where Moon Knight is striding down the alleyway. But you're right, it's a Declan Shelvey. It's definitely from the volume 6 run of writer Warren Ellis. But you're right, Connor. And it's so funny because what we know now of that classic Moon Knight coming out on Funko Pop, it would have made a lot more sense to have this one called Mr. Knight, and the classic Moon Knight, which I believe is number 272 in the Funko series. It would have made sense to differentiate them by having him called Moon Knight, classic Moon Knight, as opposed to this. So yeah, I can't shake that after you mentioned that, Connor. So every time I look at the box,
My apologies.
no, that's all right. I guess maybe because it is the first Moon Knight Funko Pop.
Yeah.
So I guess you have to market it with his kind of real classic name. But yeah, so opening up the box, it's look. As we mentioned before, Connor, you own a few Funko Pops. I've only owned one before these. I actually didn't know. I didn't know that they had a little Perspex stand at the bottom. So I was actually trying to balance him each time to put him on the table, and he kept on falling off because of his big head. And I kept on thinking, oh gosh. You really have to be careful around him because otherwise he'll just fall over. But it was only later that I discovered that there's a little Perspex disc that came with it, and I'm so happy I found it because now he's pretty stable wherever he stands. And Connor, would you like to describe perhaps his posture?
So yes, much like the Moon Knight walking down the alley, well, there's almost a direct copy. We have our our Mr. Knight strutting down the alley. We have 1 foot in front of the other, arms in stride in his nice tuxedo.
Yes.
With the silver tie, the very distinctly grayed out boots and gloves here.
Yeah.
We have a nice big bobblehead with the moon symbol on top and the nicely coloured in eyes. Yeah.
Coloured in eyes, yeah. For sure. I think I do like the detail. You can see his vest, which is all kind of buttoned, and his coat is pretty well detailed with creases and side pockets, which is cool. I think, Connor, they may have had to. I guess they felt obligated to add some sort of tone to him because literally he is all white, right? So I think by adding the grey shoes and the gloves, and by adding the silver tie and the silver shirt as well, there's at least a bit of I don't know, what would you call it? A little body to him. Yeah, otherwise he'd just be like an unfinished, figure, I'd imagine. Remember that that article we saw where they rumoured that the Moon Knight Funko was happening, and it was pretty much what you see with the finished version, except there was no black. I don't know what you'd call it, mascara under his eyes, and there was no black lining on the moon, and there was no silver color, so he was all absolutely white. Yeah, I tend to think it's probably a good move for them to actually add that.
So. I agree.
Yeah, otherwise he and we'll get to it with the other one. There's a little bit more color there, but yeah, I think it's great that he's got at least a bit more grey. And yeah, so one of the things about him being all white as well is that, and I do love how he's, it happens with all of them, but with Moon Knight, I know his big head bobbling is pretty cool. I'm just looking at it now while I'm trying to clean the top of his head. Um, yeah, is yeah. Well, I mean, I lost my train of thought there. Connor. I'm too busy taking the dust off Moon Knight. Oh yeah, I guess once one of the drawbacks is that he is all white. So he does pick up a lot of dust, uh, and I did eat a bowl of blueberries one day, and I didn't
Oh
realize I
no.
had some of the blueberry juice on my fingers. And I think I picked him up, or I must have swiped my hand or fingers near him. But it was actually a pretty cool, actually a pretty cool effect because I turned around and it looked like he had blood, like it was like coming down the side of his head and smeared across his cheek. And I was going, "Hang on, that detail wasn't there before." But luckily, I got to it early enough because I think the blueberry juice would have stained him. But yeah, so I think that's just one thing to be careful of with this Funko Pop. Just the lack of colour would mean that you do get to see the stains a bit more.
Yeah, and on the quality of the figure, Funko Pops are kind of great for what they are. You know, they're a cheap, more inexpensive compared to the $60 to
Yeah,
$1,000 figures you can buy. You know, anyone can sort of pick up one of these figures, have it on their desk.
yeah,
You know, they're designed sort of the one sheath. You know, the similar sort of bodies with the similar sort of heads, and some of them get pretty samey. But I do appreciate the detail on Moon Knight. Actually, I think there's a more surprising amount in both the mask and vest than I was expecting. You know, you can really sort of see the defined buttons, the tie, the collar,
yep,
the the pockets.
yeah.
And what I really like about this figure is actually the amount of detail they put on the face sculpt. You
Oh
know,
yeah,
you can
absolutely.
actually
Yeah,
see where this mask is touching his face. You can see an
yeah,
outline of a nose. You can sort of see the wrinkles in it as it's been pulled back across the face, which is obviously much more deliberate as
yeah.
you can compare the two figures than some sort of defect. And I don't know, it just makes it more stand out to when you compare it to some of the earlier Funko Pops. You know, Funko Pops in general has kept evolving because I think Moon Knight has received the good end of that deal
Yeah.
with
Oh, yeah.
some fun quality on him.
Totally agree, Connor. That's a great point. And especially look, I'm sitting at my desk now, and I'm putting my desk lamp right on top of the Moon Knight Funko, and just the shadows you get because of the detailing on the face on the mask is just pretty cool. It actually gives that sense that it actually takes away you kind of are taken away from the fact that it is just like a rubber plastic head, and it does look like there's some cloth sheathed around him. So it's actually really good. Yeah, nice one.
Um, it still suffers from sort of the general state of Funko Pops. It just sort of, I suppose, the mass production of these figures. You know, you talk to
Hmm.
a shop over Christmas, how many Funko Pops they sell, and just sort of the, I don't know, conveyor belt type of creation these figures must go to. You know,
Yeah.
you can see a lot of Funko Pops usually suffer from a bit of discoloration or paint. I know
Oh,
my figure
okay.
has a little bit of off painting on one of the legs and
Oh, right.
maybe a bit of I don't know, sort of dusted type of hardened substance on one of the legs, and that's just sort of
Right.
the sad fact of production line. You know, I've got some other figures, but I've been to the local store and you can see some of the ones they order in suffer from off patches of color, or
Right.
I know my brother got one with bad paint that ended up falling off after a while just because of some malfunction in the creation process. And I think Funko Pops in general, it's hard to mass produce, but there always seems to be some sort of defect every, I don't know, one in a few suffers
Yeah.
that always sort of bothers me, and I always think they could work on. But
Yeah.
and when it comes to the figure and not the sort of exterior problems of its factory creation, I think this is a marvelous figure worth your, I don't know,
Hmm.
$18.
That's a good point, Connor, as well. Yeah, but I guess silver lining and everything. If you do get something with a slight blemish on it, it will be one of a kind. Yeah, so 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 you can market that, sell it on eBay as the one with the blotchy color. No, you're right. It's with the mass production. It obviously quality will will falter as opposed to something that's that emphasizes its craftsmanship. Also wanted to mention, Con, because I had heard on other podcasts and stuff about people talking about Funko, is that Funko Pop's the company itself, and tell me if I'm wrong as well. They market more towards the casual buyer, right, as well. So this is more like how should I say it? I've heard that. Okay, obviously, look, like what we're doing, we're big Moon Knight fans. We're obviously going to get our Moon Knight, but I think it's with the low price down and the sheer volume of it. They do more than Marvel. They do DC, Star Wars. They do everything. I think their aim is to say that they have a Funko for any particular hobby that you might have, and if you aren't a figurine or toy collector, Funko is going to try to appeal to those that don't usually buy them. I mean, look, it's worked for me. I mean, I don't usually buy this sort of stuff, but the fact that that Moon Knight is in there, and Moon Knight's something I do like to follow, it has kind of compelled me to actually buy it. Would you see Funko as being marketed towards that, or how did you view Funko? Was it more for
I think
ultra fans, or
I don't think it's like exclusively the sheer like amount sort of doesn't denote it's casual, but that's sort of the whole point of it. Nerd memorabilia can be so expensive. This is sort of the more inexpensive, more I suppose casually approachable. Anyone can pick up one of these, whether it's for I don't know, their Doctor Who fandom, Lord of the Rings probably has pops. I don't know about that one. There's Disney ones, there's Marvel ones,
Game of Thrones. There's
exactly.
Stranger Things, all that sort of stuff.
And they all have that similar mold and that sort of the $18 price tag. AUS, by the way, if anyone listening. That sort of promotes these figures, and they do. And I suppose that is the great thing, that in the end we did get a Moon Knight one, and that's sort of the great outreach. We have our $60 Legends figure here as well. We have I don't know how much that is actually. We have the $300 statue coming out next year, and that $1,000
that crazy.
What is it? The die cast or incredible
for XM Studios.
Pieces.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah, that one.
But you got your Funkos here. I actually, apart from what I said as well, before I heard that on other podcasts, I thought Funko was a pretty smart little thing to do, in the fact that for people who are collectors, you'd only have to look at the numbers on Moon Knight here, 266 and 267. I reckon there are collectors out there who would want to get, every single Funko Pop. So I know that sounds crazy because there's a whole heap of them, but there's that kind of collecting mentality, and I think Funko Pops are like made for that. I mean, not only just the fact that you like Marvel, or you like, Stranger Things, or you like, I don't know, Star Trek, if they do Star Trek ones. The fact that you've got this Funko Pop, it's all kind of very similar. Look, they all look similar. They're kind of like, Lego, right? They're similar looking, and the fact that they're affordable would be a field day for collectors to go, oh, hang on, geez, I've got to get all my Funkos. And I see that in a lot of eBay and like Gumtree ads where people are selling it. They've got like rooms full of this stuff, like, from floor to ceiling. So I always imagined it to be like a pitch towards catering towards the collector and the fanatical collector. But I think it appeals to a lot of people.
And there is more specific collectors one as well. They'll release a really specific, Comic-Con exclusive. Like Squirrel Girl, I think, is definitely one of them that had like one exclusive figure, and then I don't know how much. Squirrel Girl might be the best example, but it's one of the ones that comes out once as an exclusive, and then immediately once it's sold out, goes on eBay for hundreds of dollars.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Because at the Comic Cons, and unfortunately in Australia, we aren't privy to that many or diverse Comic Cons here. Like, we've only got a couple, but apparently Funko Pop are the bee's knees of exhibits at Comic Cons, and they put on these huge displays, because at Comic Cons they always release limited edition versions of a Funko Pop. So the collectors, they kind of flock to these exhibits, and they wait and see what new and limited edition ones come out. And then they buy them, and then they flog them off on eBay for like hundreds of dollars. So also, again, from the podcast I was listening to, I can't remember which one, but they said the recent one, I think it might have been in Emerald City, or it may have been the LA Comic Con. Apparently the Funko exhibit or presentation bombed. So the podcast...
Oh, wow.
They were talking about, how sustainable is Funko Pop with its business, with its business plan about, catering for the casual collector. That's what they were saying. So, it'd be interesting to see how Funko Pop go, in the years to come as well. But I think as long as you have successful movies, TV shows, or comics, I think Funko will still be around. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I think they've been running since... I can't remember. I remember them in 2010.
Okay.
Funko Pop. Let's see, when did they start? They're not going to tell me. Or maybe they are.
Google knows everything. So,
here we are.
Yeah. I mean, while you're looking that up, I'll just let's move then towards, because there are slight differences. Although we said we're doing two Funkos, we do have a third one. We have a second one at the moment, and it is number 267 in the Funko Pop series. And this is a glow in the dark. Connor, have you got yours handy as well?
I sure do, right in my hot little hands.
I'm going to crack it open now. I've never taken it out of the box. And I think what we'll do, I'm not sure if you have a source of light available, Connor, to shine on this baby. Let's do this on the show. Let's reveal which ones we've got, because I've actually never tried this. I know Rebecca's got the blue one. And with this limited edition glow-in-the-dark Moon Knight one, you apparently can get either a blue glow-in-the-dark or a green glow-in-the-dark. So Rebecca's got the blue one. I'm just putting the fella on his little stand at the moment, and I'm just going to let him bask under the light of the lamp for a bit, and we'll see soon what he turns into. But while we wait here, Connor. What have we got with number 267 here of the Funko Pop?
Well, so what we have here is the once Moon Knight gets into the Mr. Knight gets to the... Well, they got me doing it too. As possibly most popularized by issue 5 of the Ellis run. You have the classic pose of Mr. Knight throwing off his blazer. And we got our Funko Pop. We still got... so we have the coat off. Mm-hmm. Still silver tie showing, with his sleeves now rolled up. Yep. With just the vest and shirt and tie there. So it's a bit of a different... He's looks... It's... So he's got one sleeve rolled up with both sleeves rolled up, but you sort of have the hand hanging over the last rolled up sleeve and sort of looking off ready to battle.
Yep. You can see almost that the gloves are kind of... I don't know what you call them, sporting gloves or motorcycle gloves or something, that they're kind of open at the back of the hand. Yeah. So that have a wrist. That. Yeah, so those gloves, if you can imagine it, loonies, they've got the wrist straps that you strap on, but it's exposed at the back of the hand. There's lining on the vest, which is pretty cool, which you don't pick up in the other one. Yep. Look, I also notice as well his left foot is forward. Is your left foot forward there as well? Whereas the other one was right foot forward.
Yes.
Yep. So little differences here, but still the same sort of head. I'd imagine it's the a cookie cutter with the head, right?
Definitely.
So it's just in the body. Still got the silver tie, and it's nice to have a little bit of the flesh showing there, Connor. I know that sounds creepy, but
it is Moon Knight after all.
Yeah, it is Moon Knight. Yeah, it's good that he's showing a bit of flesh. And it's to me it's a lot more of a tougher a tougher pose. This guy means business, right? So he's rolling up the sleeves, as you do when you mean business. Yeah, and it looks pretty good. Okay, let me... have you shone yours under a light, Connor, or do you know your colour?
I do not actually. I
Do you
didn't. I totally didn't even think about the shining under light thing.
Okay, let me... I'm just going to turn mine off. And it's going to close the laptop. We're back. Hi, loonies. Sorry about that. Probably a bit of an edit there. What I did in my glee to try and look at the glow in the dark Mooney was that I tried to close all or turn off all the lights in the room, and doing so, I also shut my laptop, which meant that the Skype and recording was stopped as well. So that wasn't smart. But anyway, let's throw Connor. You checked out your glow in the dark Mooney?
I got the blue one. Huzzah!
Yes.
I really wanted the blue one, so yay.
Nice one. So you got the blue one. Yeah, I got the green one. It seems so. So that's pretty cool. And did you note, was the body glowing as well?
Yeah, it was, which was really cool. I've got like a black suit glow in the dark Spider-Man. It's really only his like eyes and a few other white spots on him that like glow in the dark. But yeah, this is the sort of whole figure really, and it looks really good in the dark.
Yeah, right. Sorry, loonies. One sec.
We're professionals here, guys.
We're professionals. Oh, this is great. This is a first for Into the Night toy review. We've got cats coming in.
Cats!
He was meowing at the door. We have hosts turning off their equipment. It's all happening here. It's great. But you heard it first. Yeah. So that's really exciting. Yeah. Here we go. Hey, Mace. Yeah, that's really exciting, Connor. So you got a bluey, I got a green. I wasn't expecting the body to glow. I actually, for some reason, just thought the head would glow. But yeah, it's good to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, overall impressions on the Pop Nights. Did you think it was a Pop Moon Knights, Mr. Knights, bloody naming conventions?
Yeah.
Overall, what do you think of these cute little figures?
I love them. I think they're great. I'll 100% be picking up the classic Moon Knight because look, as much as I love Mr. Knight as well, you've got to have the original looking Moon Knight. And look, Funko has sucked me in with this, exactly as we mentioned. So I want to kind of get the set of the Moon Knights. So any Moon Knight related ones, I'll be definitely looking for. It'll be really cool if they do like a Bushman or a Rogues gallery one. That would be pretty cool. But yeah, I
glow in the dark teeth.
Glow in the dark teeth. How good is that? But I really like it. How about yourself, Connor? What would your overall impressions be for the Funko Pops?
Yes, yeah, once again, if you had a Funko Pop before, you're sort of expecting the same thing, a good, cheap figure. Like I said, there's actually some really nice, surprising detail with the mask and the suit that I wasn't expecting. And, I have no idea on the general availabilities. These guys seem to no longer have their exclusive tag on them, and you might be able to find them more easily in store than having to search out online. But, if you want a little Moon Knight judging you while you work, while you sleep, then I think for sure this is a lovely little addition to any Moon Knight fan.
Yeah,
and the perfect price tag, really.
It is very affordable. I'm not sure as well, Connor, because I checked Pop Culture where I bought these babies, and it's no longer available. So that kind of pricked my ears up, going, Did we swoop in at the right time and get them? But you're right. I mean, that might be available at other like more mainstream stores later. Who knows? But yeah, it's very cool. And yeah, like you said, I totally agree as well. What would seemingly be a simple Funko Pop, like what could you look at Mr. Knight, how complicated in detail can it be? But by putting that detail on the face mask, by putting the real detail on the vest and the coat, it really does pop. No pun intended. So yeah, no, enjoyed it.
Sure.
Connor, how about we give it some Crescent Dart ratings?
Oh, I mean, bloody reviewing figures, huh? Well, I think you know what. For the price tag, the quality,
Yep.
Hoping for no factory.
Yeah, bang for buck and quality. Yep.
Yes, no factory mix-up for yours. I definitely give these a solid 4 out of 5. I think they're a definite addition for any Moon Knight fan.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the sounds of it, snatch it up quick. And the new one, which just dropped.
Yes, I am. Not just copying you, but I would agree. I would agree. Kind of 4 out of 5 Crescent Darts for this. Only to give it a little bit of wiggle room because I'm prepared to give the classic one a bit higher if it ticks all the boxes as well. And look, let's just hope that they release more of them. Like I said, it'd be great to see villains. It'll be great to see Frenchie and Marlene Funko Pop. That would be great stuff. And again, if there is a Netflix show or if there is a film or some other show on some other network, then there's a greater chance that we will get other Funko Pops of Moon Knight. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Agreed. Yeah. So for sure.
Right. Well, we also have another figure to. Oh, and sorry, before we go, as mentioned, of course, once Connor and I we do get the classic Moon Knight one, that's always up for a review as well. So, so we'll be doing that as soon as we get that in. But I understand that a lot of our US loonies might have that already because that was available first up as an exclusive from Walgreens, which I believe is a pharmacy or a chemist over in the US. But yeah, yet to arrive, wholesale over in Australia. So I order mine from Pop Culture, which again you can find Pop Culture with an A at the end .com.au. Just have a look on there, and you should be able to find classic Moon Knight. And Connor, do you want to give your store a plug?
Yeah, I got if you're ever in the little biggest town of Toowoomba in Australia, in Queensland, the lovely store which specifically ordered these in for me, Brutal Deluxe. Swing on in. It's
cool.
Just in the big old CBD. Absolutely fantastic store. It's where I get all my things, all my nerd memorabilia.
That's really nice of them to order it just for you. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's the sort of service that you want from LCS. So that's really good to hear. All right.
The big one.
The big one. We both haven't opened these as well, so I'm going to put the old Funkos aside. I'm going to change now, Connor. I've put the regular Moon Knight back in his box. I think I'll take the glow in the dark one out for a bit of a while.
All right.
Put him on the old bedside. But let's look at this Build-A-Figure Legends series from Hasbro. It's Moon Knight. It was released. This was released a while ago, wasn't it? Kind of earlier in the year, or
yeah, easily. Yeah. It's So this is actually part of the line with Spider-Man figures that came out at the time of Homecoming. He's basically kind of weirdly filtered in with a bunch of Spider-Man characters and villains.
Sense. Makes total sense.
Yeah, so it's got a part of a Build-A-Figure. It's got Vulture's wing in here, but yeah.
Yeah, let's go through it. At the back of the box, though, we see that, as Connor said, you can build the Vulture figure. Moon Knight comes in at number 3, and he's got, what does he have? He's got a wing, it looks like, for the Vulture. And it has Spider-Man. Then it has what looks like the Homecoming Spider-Man with his patchwork costume. At number 2, you have Moon Knight. At number 3, you have, it looks like Cosmic Spidey. At number 4.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Although Cosmic Spidey never had the red webbing around his face, it was just the blue head and see, you can see some speckles. It looks like he's got stars. Number 5, you have Tombstone. He's one of my favourite villains. He's really cool. Number 6, you have that's a beetle, isn't it? Yeah, I think it's a beetle.
I think so, yeah.
Yep. And number 7, you have Michael Keaton's The Vulture. And so if you collect all 7 of those, you can put together the Vulture wing, I think. That kind of actually sucks, Connor. Like, if you buy... I'm just thinking. If you buy number 7, if you buy Marvel's The Vulture, wanting to get the Vulture, I'm assuming then that you're only given the body, right? The hair, like the figure without the wings. So if you wanted the Vulture, you would have to actually buy all 7 of these.
That's how they get you.
Yeah, that's how they get you, eh? Lucky that we went for just Moon Knight. Hang on, let me just close the door.
Hi, cats. Get sucked in.
Sorry, Mace is gone, so that's good. Yeah. So, what else? We got a nice shot of Moon Knight at the back of the box as well, Connor.
Yeah. So on a really sleek black sort of casing, we have our figure displayed in the front and on the back. We have all that down below on sort of a posed cinematic version of the figure, and we have some nice illustration on the side of the box actually.
I do like that,
which I really enjoy.
I'm wondering, is that illustration? To me it doesn't look like it's from any of the comics, so I can't place it.
No, it possibly was done for this figure specifically.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool. And we must mention that the Moon Knight in this figure is heavily influenced from the Declan Shalvey Moon Knight.
Yes, the much loved.
The much loved,
by our speculating fan Austin, I think specifically.
Ah, yes.
He may just be the world's biggest Shelby fan when it comes to this suit, which I mean we all love it. Look at that sleek black and white design. I love how the chest piece sticks out.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Let me. Sorry, I got a bit of sticky tape on the side here, Connor. Let's crack this baby open. Have you got yours at the ready?
I sure do. So looking at it, we have the base figure comes with all a rather nice flowing cape, the hood, and for spare parts we have 2 different another set of hands, clenched fists this time. We have 1 big crescent dart, 3 smaller crescent darts, and then his truncheon.
His truncheon, yeah. Those crescent darts, they're pretty you not want to lose them, wouldn't you? Like they're pretty small. But I understand from having watched some of the YouTube things that they fit into Mooney's hand. All right, let's take this fella out. Now the good thing about this figure is that apparently there's quite a lot of flexibility at the joints. So,
yes, there is a lot of points of articulation here, which is absolutely fantastic.
Which is fantastic.
The arms, forearms, hands, elbow, the entire arm, torso. Both the legs, the feet, the knees, head. We have a really well articulated structure in the torso, the body especially. How the cape. I think it's
really well
done.
Yeah. I'm just trying to struggle to get him out of there.
So, this Legends series is sort of Marvel's own sort of more premium line. These are the figures that are still in the more affordable range. I think this was $45 AUS. Not the big $100 figure, but it's sort of a figure that's very much designed with the adult collector in mind. That's not me being facetious or
no, yeah.
Kind of shit. No, yeah, that's very much it is. You might also be associated with the Star Wars Black Series line, which is sort of, I think, what Marvel Legends sort of copied, or maybe Legends came first. But yeah,
sorry,
honestly, I think it's kind of... Oh, sorry, were you going to say something there, Ray?
I was just saying that I'm struggling to get it out of the plastic here. Are you meant to take his head off, or... Are you meant
to take his head off?
Yeah. Like, how do you get... Like, his cape is behind the... Are you meant to just push...
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you meant to just push his cape through? Okay.
Yeah, you can sort of be capeless or...
Okay, sorry, Lenny's. I'm learning. This is, like, my first one, so... no idea how this works. Okay, don't mind the crackles. Okay, cool, he's free. Alright, So, so yeah. Sorry, Connor, I interrupted.
No, by all means, I'm not sure what I was saying. Yes, yeah, sort of, when Marvel Legends figures sort of began, I wasn't that big on them. I honestly like the quality of them, like, wasn't spectacular. If you look back at some of the years,
Mm-hmm.
they're just nowhere near as well detailed or well articulated. But the steps they've come and how this has culminated into this line and the line before. I've seen some really great Novas and
Yeah,
Dark
yep.
Hawks have been the ones I've wanted to pick up.
Oh, the Dark Hawk
Um,
ones look really good. The Dark Hawk one
yeah,
looks really cool.
but yeah, just looking at this figure, it's just absolutely incredibly well designed. Really specific, really well colored and placed. Armor white plated on top of the sort of black figures, the gauntlets, the leg pads, the feet. The once again real detailed facial structure with how the hood sort of is
Yep,
stretched across the face. The cape is rather nicely flowing.
yep.
What do
What
you think
I
of this figure, Ray? I've been ranting for a bit.
No, that's good. I'm just having while you're saying that, I'm having a play, yeah, with all these joints. It's really cool how you can tilt his head like not only from left to right, which a lot of figures do, but he can actually look up and down as well. He's got total mobility with his neck, which is pretty cool. Like you said, his elbows and his knees and his ankles are pretty cool. They're pretty mobile. They kind of roll around. So I'm just having a play with him now, just trying to roll all the joints there. Obviously, with his around his I guess crotch and his waist can turn. So there's a lot of poses which you can get him to do. His cape is pretty cool, Connor. It's actually a lot. From what I saw, I thought it was like really rigid, and it is still rigid to show the flowiness of it. But there's a softness to it as well, which is really cool and make it like a real cape. Um, yeah, his hands are pretty cool. I haven't dared change his hands yet.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like it. I'm loving the look of it. One of the things, Connor, just to I think be mindful of, and I did see this in a YouTube thing, was that he's got a couple of I guess you call them crescent moons as well on his waist. So just be careful. Apparently they're known to pop off if you twist him around too much. So there are some stress points there, which because at the end of the day, these are just adhesive fixed, right? So they're just glued on. So I guess if you want to take good care of your figure, just be mindful not to abuse it too much if you want it to last long. But yeah, the detailing's pretty cool. I love his boots actually. His boots have got actually grips underneath, so it actually shows that this is not a hero in spandex. This is a hero kitted out with body armor, which is what this iteration is. Yeah, no, really cool. I like the cape. Looks really good, I think. Yeah, just loving it. Have you tried any of the attachments, Connor?
I have not yet.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I'm just trying to take the bow. It looks like it can be a bow staff, or it can come apart, I'm assuming, and become the truncheons, which are pretty cool.
oh yeah.
So let me just
Yep.
chuck that. I think he's when you open the pack, he comes with the not the clenched fists. He comes with the fists that allow you to add stuff
Hold
to
the
his.
cres- Hold the
Sorry?
crescent darts as you see him.
Oh
As you can
yes.
raise it up and look like he's about to throw them with those cute little ones, or the nice big one, as it
Yeah.
looks like more he's sort of, I don't know, hacking at
It's
the fields.
it's funny. Like I always associated the truncheons like let's face it, they're kind of like billy clubs, aren't they? I always associated
Yeah,
them with Daredevil, but
me
more,
too.
yeah, but more and more you see Moon Knight using it, and even in the classic runs that we've reviewed, Connor as well, he uses his truncheon a lot. So yeah, we got I think it's just as much a Moon Knight weapon as it is for Hornhead. Um, yeah, my only concern, I guess, yeah, look at those crescent darts. They're all differing sizes. I guess the three small ones are your typical size crescent dart that he uses to like throw and hurl, and he's got a bigger one which would just work like a knife, I'd reckon.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, and how you can sort of pose it. Really, sort of, I don't know, looks.
Yeah. So let's sorry, Loonies, Connor and I were literally just having to play with these as well. Well, do you just pull the arm off? I don't want to pull the hand off. How do you get the hands off?
Yeah, you sort of can twist them and pull them out like, I don't
Twist
know,
them
an
and pull
old
them out.
Barbie doll.
Okay, I don't want to break it. Okay, there we go. There's one of his hands gone.
There it is, on the ground. Rest in peace, Rey's figure.
Yeah, look, don't put it past me. I'll friggin' and break things easy. Here we go. Okay, and cool. And I'm putting his fists on now, so he becomes the Fist of Khonshu. And there he is. He's good to dish out justice. I like the detailing on his gloves as well, Connor. He's got very pronounced knuckles, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately,
kind of sad we don't see spike knuckles.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
Ah.
But hey, look, we can put on. So what I'm going to do with the closed fists, as Connor mentioned, you can actually add the 3 little crescent darts. Now, again, Loonies, if you have these, I guess, and you probably know it, but you'd have to just be very careful.
Yes.
Not to lose these pieces because they're so small. So you can actually fit, and it becomes almost like a Wolverine. Yeah, you can put 3 crescent darts through his knuckles, and he's out to cause some real damage. Yeah, Connor. Any other thoughts on this Hasbro piece?
Yeah, I'm not sure what else there is to say. You know, if you've seen the figure, you can just sort of see the quality that's behold with the facial features and the armor. And I think really the important part is to talk about here. You know, you can see how great it is in box, and if you were to buy, but also, you know, as Rose saying, the amount that sort of comes with it, the posability, the incredible amount of points of articulation, just sort of culminates in this sort of being such a quality buy. It's for the price tag, you know. And these are surprisingly still in stock. You know, Ray and I both feared a lot about not being able to find these for the show, but I believe they're still in stock at popculture.com.
Yes, they are. You're right. Yep.
And I imagine they'd still be over in America too, which probably have a bigger supply than old Australia can manage.
Yeah. Yeah, so actually what I'll do, Loonies and Connor, I encourage you as well, maybe I'm just taking a few little snaps. We'll put them up on the group. Just in case, you know, you haven't seen the millions of photos out there on Google of this, you can see the one straight from, you know, the podcast. But pretty cool. Nothing much else to say other than I think would you be inclined, Connor, to buy any other of the Legend series? Like, would you be compelled to try and get a set of whatever? Like, say for instance, this one was to build a figure, the Vulture. Say if they had a Moon Knight one, and you had to buy 7 figures to create, I don't know, the Mooncopter. Would you? Yeah, would you consider buying it, or you know? What are your thoughts?
I think there's a very big collection habit for it. You know, I kind of like having my one, but I suppose I totally would feel inclined unless I was possibly talked out of it to do so.
Yeah, I would as well.
But I think just in general, I'm a lot more sold on the Marvel Legend figures. I think there are a couple I'd want to track down. I think I would like a possible Spider-Man and a cute little... Yeah, you know, I like the Darkhawk and the Nova figures. You know, I'd happily buy a Mr. Knight Legends figures as well to go with the Moon Knight here, or maybe even the Burrows costume later, you know. I'm a sucker, I'm not going to lie.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a sucker with money, and that's how they get you. That's how they get you.
That's it.
Ray. In the big bad world, they've got you already.
Well, hey, look, we collect comics, so, you know, we're already suckered into to collecting stuff like that. But yeah, look, I think I would as well. And Loonies, as we mentioned, the Hasbro ones, they're a little bit more expensive than your Funkos, so you do have to dish out a bit more in order to get it. But I reckon if there was an exclusive Moon Knight one, I'd have to. What I'd wish though, Connor, would be that the 7 figures that you have to get would be somehow connected to Moon Knight. Like with this one, you're pretty much a Spidey fan, right? Because this is a Homecoming one, and you know you can argue the fact that Moon Knight, kind of street level, is kind of in Spider-Man's world. So, well, if there was one like dodgy figure out of the 7 to get the Moon Knight, Mooncopter, I'd still consider it.
That's how they get you.
That's how they get you. Yeah. So I don't know, Connor. Crescent Dart ratings?
Yeah, I mean, there's really not much to really complain about here, possibly, for the price tag, obviously the points of articulation aren't as well hidden as they possibly could be.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that may be something you might consider, accessories are really good, sculpting's really nice, and seems to be no really visible defects on mine.
He just looks
Colouring
really
is
cool,
equal.
doesn't he? Like I think compared to a lot of the Build-A-Figure Legends series, the Moon Knight one actually does strike out. I remember, like when they released, not just the Moon Knight one, but all the others. No bias, but I thought the Moon Knight one looked kind of close to the best.
I would honestly agree, though. Honestly, I think a really strong 4.5 out of 5 Crescent Darts. You can do no wrong with a figure like this. If you've got the cash, it's still very affordable, but obviously still more quality with the more you pay.
Yep.
And I think whether you keep it in box or have it posable with more figures or just by itself, I think it's yet again, if you have the money, by all means, there should be nothing stopping you.
Yep. Oh, yeah. I totally agree. I would, and for, if you are a fan of Moon Knight as well, I think it will be, don't want to pressure you into buying it and stuff, but it would be a great collection, I think, for any Moon Knight fan to have. It is just a really cool looking figure, and look, I've not bought the other figures from the past as well, but I've seen some of the photos and they look really good as well, but this one hasn't done anything wrong. It hasn't missed a step in any regard. It looks pretty cool, so I would give it I'd say a 5 for myself.
Nice.
Yeah, I really do. I'm really impressed by it actually, and I just like the fact as well that you can chop and change his just have him holding those truncheons, and the Crescent Darts are pretty cool. So and his cape, his cape. I reckon capes would be really hard to do, but he's come across quite well. So yeah, I'd give it a 5 Crescent Darts for old Hasbro Mooney. So there you go.
Yeah, and if you guys have any thoughts on any of the figures we just reviewed, by all means send them in, and we're more than happy to read them out on the show.
Yeah.
Or post up your own figures in our Moon Knight group, facebook.com/groups/into the night.
Yeah.
I mean, some of you might have ordered those one of the 2 more expensive figures coming out, most likely the $300 one. But by all means, post them on it.
Please post them up. And look, I'll throw it out there as well. Like any loonies out there with the Hasbro figure, just for a bit of fun, why not just post up? Try to who can do like the coolest pose for Mooney. I think post up your cool poses of Mooney, because one of the big things that I'm very impressed with, but I think is covered in all Hasbro figures, is just the dexterity of the figures. Just like I said, I'm impressed at how the joints just work and are so malleable. So any loonies out there, post up some pics of some cool poses of your Mooney figure, and let's get discussing. So
I think that rounds us off nicely for the episode.
It's been fun, Connor.
As you notice. Oh.
So, I'll just say it's been fun. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I hope you've gotten something about us rambling about figures. We have no idea how we've gone when compared to other figure connoisseurs. But we hope to deliver something at least entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. Look, it is always hard as well to try and describe it over just a podcast, but hopefully you get a sense of it, and if you do a bit of investigation and track one down, maybe just have a fiddle with yourself. No, hang on, that doesn't sound right. have a fiddle yourself with the figures. I mean, so and because they look really good on the shelves. Yeah, that's all I can say from it, Connor. I guess next week, what we'll do, we'll probably head back towards the Over the Moon comic reviews again. And this time we will continue our classic run, which will be issue 48 of the Defenders, called the Sinister Savior. And we'll get back to the comic book review there. And for a more modern run, to contrast, as mentioned before, was Moon Knight Volume 3, Issue 1, and we're going to get into the Resurrection War. So that's Phase 1, called Eclipse. Have you read these, Connor, since last week?
Yeah, I have, and boy, do I have some thoughts on them.
How cool are they? I enjoyed both of them. Tommy Lee Edwards' art is just brilliant. The colouring, is it Melissa Edwards? Must be his sister or wife, I don't know. Must be related. They do a cracking job with art. So yeah, looking forward to getting into that. And that's about it. No spectacles. Connor, anything you want to plug? Just what was the name of that shop again of yours?
Brutal Deluxe down in Toowoomba. Check them out if you're down here. I don't know anyone who listens who's in Toowoomba, but come for a holiday. We have.
You never know.
Brutal Deluxe.
Be like other Toowoomba listeners, other Toowoomba loonies. A shout out to Pop Culture. So popcultcha.com.au. Really give them a go because they're doing really well. We're heading towards Christmas, so busy times for any retailers. So just be mindful of delivery dates. There could be a slight delay, but I think that's across the board anyway. Look, everyone's ordering stuff, everyone's buying stuff for Christmas, so that might just delay things. Finally, just where to find us. So thanks again, Looney listeners. Thanks again, Connor, for another ripping episode. It was a heap of fun, and let us know, Loonies, again, how we fared with this. So you can find us on email at moonknightpodcast@gmail.com. Our website, intothenightpodcast.wordpress.com, that has all our show notes and our Over the Moon newsletters, as well as our blog for each of the episodes. We're also available on Facebook at facebook.com/ITKMoonKnight, and our Facebook group, which is growing every day, at facebook.com/groups/intothe-night. Please give that one a go, and hope to see you there to discuss stuff. And like I said, if you can post up some pictures of your collection or of your figures, that would be awesome. We also are on Twitter at ITKMoonKnight, where we're active there as well as Instagram, Tumblr, YouTube. We've got a fair few other platforms, and you can hear us on all good podcast catches. So thanks again. It's been really cool. Our first toy review. I think Connor, I mentioned also we've got on the cards coming up with Christmas. We still have to do the Ultimate Spider-Man episode with Moon Knight in it.
Yes, indeed, which has a name relating to Christmas that I've forgotten. It's like a white...
Oh, no, The Moon Knight Before Christmas, I think it's called.
That's it.
Yeah. It's actually a really fun one. I watched it today. And look, again, I'm not much of an animation, watcher. But I do appreciate them, and it has Doctor Strange in there as well. So a lot of fun there. We'll be reviewing that around Christmas, or just to prepare before Christmas. But hopefully we'll squeeze out a few more episodes, around the Christmas and New Year time. But any final words, Connor? Any messages?
No, thank you once again for listening and joining in and sending us and talking to us online. It is fantastic as always, and we appreciate the continued support.
Oh, we certainly do. Thank you so much, Loonies. And with that, may Khonshu watch over the denizens of the night. Catch you later.
Bye-bye.
Moon Knight and affiliated characters, stories and events are properties of Marvel Characters Incorporated. Materials used and discussed within the podcast are intended for critique and review purposes only under the fair dealing concept of the current Copyright Act. The views, information or opinions expressed during the podcast are solely those of the individuals involved and do not necessarily represent those of the copyright owners.